Hello, my dear young friends. How are you all? Today, I will take you further with a very elaborate explanation of this fantastic story After 20 Years by O. Henry. Today, I will give you the plot of the story and an explanation of the story, which will try to help you understand the story much better. This is Professor Krishna H.S. from Government First Grade College, Kadugodi, Bangalore. Today, I will take you through this session of learning. Yes, before I proceed further, let us just do a kind of a recap of the previous session. All of you know that William Sidney Porter was the original name, and the pen name was O. Henry. And the publication which allowed him to write one page was the New York World. And the story revolves around two friends, Bob and Jimmy Wells. And they had made a pact, an agreement that they would meet 20 years after they departed at last. And Bob finally turns out to be a criminal, and Jimmy Wells is surprisingly the cop who is on the lookout for this most wanted criminal by the Chicago police, who is none other than Bob. Now, coming to the plot of the story here, Bob and Jim are two friends, agreed to meet each other 20 years after they part away, and now they are meeting near a hardware store, which was a restaurant 20 years ago. The restaurant name was Big Joe Brady. Big Joe Brady was the name of the restaurant. They dined. They dined in the restaurant, and they finally agreed that they will keep up their friendship for long. They are eternal friends, and they would meet exactly 20 years down the line at the same place and at the same time of 10 p.m. in the night. This was the kind of agreement which was made between these two friends. It was a very informal kind of an agreement, but it had more seriousness than even a formal agreement, also. Bob is pretty sure that Jim will come to meet him at any cost. The only thing is, he must be alive, and Jim will definitely meet Bob. Both are really committed to each other. And now, with the plot goes on deep. Both of them, they are eager to meet each other, and now Bob is waiting near the hardware store, and a policeman who is on his patrolling duty at the night time is surprised why this gentleman Bob is waiting there, and he wants to inquire and he wants to find out as to why Bob has been waiting. Bob actually explains that he is waiting for his old friend, and he is convinced that there is nothing wrong, and the policeman leaves without much questions. Now, you also find that Jim is surprisingly a cop. He's a policeman, but he is very sad to see that the wanted criminal whom he had to arrest was none other than his own friend. His own friend Bob was the most wanted criminal, and Jimmy Wells was the cop who has been assigned to arrest this criminal Bob. What a tragedy is this. Two very close friends, one is a criminal, and the other one is the cop who has been appointed to nab his own friend. What a strange irony of fate is this. Really, it is a very remarkable story. And now, does really Jim go and arrest Bob? Do you think he's got the nerves to do the same? He doesn't. Now, does Jimmy Wells compromise his duty? Does he allow his friend Bob to get away? No. The story definitely doesn't say that. The story definitely has shown Jimmy Wells to be very loyal to his profession, very loyal and very ethical to his profession. He values his profession more than his friendship. And at the same time, he also made it a point that he will be present at the time and place where he had agreed, where he had committed to his friend 20 long years ago. He was there, he was very much there, but the arrest was not by him. The arrest was from another policeman who held him by his arm. Both of them they walked through the dark streets, and when they turned around a corner near a drugstore, then the electric lights which flashed on the face of this person who was holding Bob, it revealed that Bob was not in contact with Jimmy Wells, but Bob was in contact with another person who had been sent by Jimmy Wells to arrest him. Bob suddenly takes his arm away. Bob is shocked to see it is not Jimmy Wells. And how does he know this? He knows very well that his friend's nose was a Roman one and not a pug nose. He is very clear about the features of his friend, and he remembers his friend by the face, and he has not definitely forgotten how his friend looks precisely. So the nose gives away. So at that point of time, Bob is shattered. He's shattered to see that he has been arrested by the person who had been holding him. And at last, he gets a note written by his friend, Jimmy, and the note was handed over by a patrolsman, and the note said, Jimmy clearly writes in the note was very much alarming. The note was very much alarming. He says, Bob, I was at the appointed place. I was at the appointed place when you struck the match of the light. And why did he strike the light? Why did he struck the match? That was to light the cigar. He struck the match, the matches to light the cigar. And in this light, Jimmy comes to know that the person there was Bob, and Bob was indeed the wanted criminal. So, Jimmy doesn't have the guts to arrest his friend, and therefore he asks his fellow policemen to carry out this task of arresting his friend. It's a great thing. It's a great thing that Jimmy Wells has been very loyal to his duty. He has not compromised anywhere. He has not even compromised at his friendship because he had been there. He had been there at the appointed time and place, thus valuing friendship also. At the same time, he doesn't lose his professional ethics. This is the beauty of the story, and the climax turned out to be really an anticlimax wherein Bob realized that the person he was holding was not Jimmy Wells, and he in turn was arrested. So, this is the entire story told to you in a very brief manner. And let me summarize the, the contents of this session. As you know, the story revolves around two guys here, two friends, Bob and Jim, who meet each other after 20 long years. Meeting happens near a hardware shop, which was earlier a restaurant, which was named Big Joe Brady. And Bob explains to the policeman he's convinced that he's waiting for his friend. And the policeman indeed was waiting to arrest Bob. And the original policeman who was supposed to carry out this job was Jimmy. Now let us have a brief session on the multiple choice questions so as to assist your comprehension. It has been a very fantastic story. I really enjoyed reading the story, and I'm very happy to share this story to my young friends. So, the multiple choice questions for you. Bob's watch was made of. Bob was a very well off person. He was shown to be very well off because in the dark lights where he was standing, his watch was shown to be reflecting very expensive diamonds. So obviously, Bob's watch was it diamonds, pearls, gold, or platinum? The answer is Bob's watch was made of diamonds. Diamonds definitely is not a poor man's thing. Definitely, diamonds are something which definitely gives a lot of questions into. What was his income? What were his activities? Where did he earn so much? The next question: what was the name of the restaurant wherein they met? So, the restaurant actually was now a hardware shop. At that time, what was the name of the restaurant? You've been given choices: your West End or Windsor or Big Joe Brady. What is the right answer? The restaurant was Big Joe Brady. And Bob was a wanted criminal by which of these cities? By London, Washington, Chicago, or New Jersey? Bob was a wanted criminal by Chicago, by Chicago police. Chicago had laid a net to trap this wanted criminal Bob. And did Jim really come to the agreed place? Did Jim really come to the agreed place? Which was the agreed place? The place where they had dined 20 years back, which is now a hardware shop. Was Jim there? The answer, find out the answer. Yes, Jim was there, but Jim was hiding. Jim was hiding, and he observed all the movements of Job, all the movements of his friend Bob. Bob was identified when he tried to light his. How did Bob reveal, or how was Bob exposed? He was trying to light one of these things. Was it cigar or the local BD here or the ashtray? Which was the option here? The perfect answer here is he was trying to light his cigar. Bob, you have made a very big blunder by lighting the cigar. You have completely lit up your fate because you were identified by your friend and you were the person who was wanted by the Chicago police. Yeah. So that brings us to the end of this session. For further references, you can use the textbook prescribed for you, the illuminations, and you can also uh, go ahead with the link and get more information on this fantastic, very interesting story between two wonderful friends. And thank you all, my dear friends, for listening patiently. I really enjoyed explaining this to you. I hope I have been useful to you. Thank you all, my dear friends.